Hey guys, Brittney with the Mirror Scores back again for another writing session. Today we're going to not really talk about different elements of poetry, but we're just going to talk about a type of poem or a theme or subject. So we're going to talk about who I am. We're going to go through a few exercises that will kind of get you in touch to think about who you are a little bit better, and then we're going to write a poem about who you are as a person. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to determine what our skills and abilities are. We're going to think through some of the things that we can do, what some things we like to do, and we're going to just make note of that. So what I want you to do is I want you to get a piece of paper or a computer or something where you can write down some of these things. So as you can see here, there is a list of different abilities and skills. These are just some of abilities and skills we could talk about. Feel free to add anything that is not here already. So here we have writing, we have creating art, we have singing, dancing. Do you organize things really well? Are you really good at learning? Are you good at listening to others, teaching people things, talking in front of a bunch of people, being a leader, acting, telling stories? Do you like to brainstorm new ideas? Do you like to make decisions? Do you research? Do you use technology really well? Do you just are great at asking questions and finding new information? How about making friends? Is that something that's easy to you or you really enjoy doing? What about persuading others to think through things or working with others? So I went through and I kind of picked out the some that are what I consider my skills and abilities. These are just some things, I didn't circle them all, I just circled a few. So I have writing. I'm a writer. I lead our writing curriculum. I write my own stories. I have short stories. I have a novel. Everything to do with writing is something that I find is definitely my skills and ability list. I love to learn. Learning is one of my favorite things. I love to learn new information, new technology, anything that I haven't known before. Nothing is better than continuing to learn. We always need to learn in order to grow. I consider myself good at listening to others. I like to let people talk. I like to listen to what they need to say. Before I try to give advice, I make sure I listen to everything that they say first. I enjoy teaching. It's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to teach you guys a lesson. I love to sit down in front of our teams. I love to work on our writing with you. Sometimes I teach the soccer. I love teaching anything and everything. I like to tell stories. As a writer, it's part of telling you, a lot of times that's what you do. You're telling stories. You're writing now, like I said, I like to write novels. So I like to tell a story, come up with characters and setting, and let everyone know a different tale that needs to be told. I am good at using technology. I have found myself especially over the last few months, realizing that I can adapt pretty well. I like to find new different technologies that are different, kind of like we're using Flipgrid now, and figure out how to use them, make them work best for our students, for you guys, and see what they can do. I feel like technology's got all this potential, and I just love to see what it can do. And I also, I think I'm good at asking questions. I like to ask questions and make sure I understand things, make sure I comprehend what's going on. I find asking questions is a super important way to continue to learn. And last but not least is working with others. I feel myself very good at working in groups. I like to listen. I like to work back and forth with someone. I don't try to hog the meeting. I like to make sure that we are working as a team, which is a big part of being part of American Scores, is we are one team. So what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video for a moment. I want you to look at this list, and I want you to think through what are some of these things that are your skills and abilities. And like I said, if it's not listed here, add it. Anything that you think are your skills and abilities. So once you have your skills and abilities list, come back and do the next activity with me. So now that you are back and you have your skills and abilities on a nice, fantastic list, we are going to talk about inside and outside traits. So this is going to take our skills and ability idea and we're going to narrow it down some more and give us another way of looking at who we are as people, who we are in our world, and determine how to talk about ourselves and their place in the world. So what you're going to do here is we're going to talk about what are your outside and your inside traits. So here in my list, I have my outside and inside traits. So these are just very basic traits that I quickly came up with to give you an idea of what I mean when I say outside and inside traits. So outside traits are kind of what defines me on the outside. They're not my internal things. So that's kind of what you can see from just seeing me on the street or talking to me for a few seconds, you might get to know some of these outside things. And the inside traits are the parts that are the inside of me, my emotions and things that you really don't get to know until you get to know a person. You can't really tell these things. You can from the outside sometimes if they're depending on how they're acting, but you can't just tell by just standing. When a person just stands in front of you, it's hard to tell some of the inside traits, okay? So my outside traits, I'm 5'3". That's my outside. I'm 31 years old. That is an outside trait. I'm a writer, which it can be an outside inside trait. It kind of comes with some inside traits, but it's a physical outside thing that I do. And I happen to love Harry Potter, animals, and books. These are outside traits. Yes, I feel the love for things inside, but it's outside traits because they are things that are on the outside. So animals, like my kitty cat, books are easy for me to show you on an outside versus these kind of more internal things that are harder to make tangible. So inside traits are, like I said, are the inside things inside of you. So I see myself as caring. I have a family and my brothers and my mom and dad. I'm always trying to take care of everyone in my family. I think I'm kind. I try to treat everyone with kindness. I try to be open-minded, which means that I always try to listen to what new ideas and new things and make sure that I don't bring kind of preconceived notions to an idea and think through and realize that maybe something I knew beforehand is not true and I need to adjust my thinking. And I think I'm a good listener. Like I said before, I like to listen to people. I like to make sure I understand everything they have to say while we're having a conversation, because I think it is very important to listen back and forth with someone and not just do all the talking, but also the listening. So these are some outside inside traits that I have. What I want you to do is I want you again to pause the video. You can make a line down yours and do outside inside traits on two sides of your paper. You can make a box. You can just write them down, however best you want to do it. But hit the pause, and I want you to write down some outside traits that you have and some inside traits. Okay, now that you are back, now we have a list of skills and abilities. We know kind of what we like to do. We have outside and inside traits. Not only do we have our outside stuff, but we have a lot of these good and inside stuff, so different ways of looking at it. One of the next things we're gonna do is we're gonna make a crest. So this is where your artistic abilities, hopefully you created art was one of your abilities on there, and if you don't have artistic abilities, you can write this down. You can do crest however you feel fit. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a crest representing who you are using your skills, abilities, and your outside and inside traits. So this can look however you want it to look. It can be one big picture that flows together. It can be a bunch of little pictures like a mosaic. However you want to create this crest that shows who you are as a person. So if I looked at it and as a writer, I might have a pen on there. I might put an animal. I might put ears for listening. I might put a brain for learning, things like that. So how do you see yourself and how do you want to represent yourself on a crest? So pause, probably gonna take longer this time. Pause the video and create your gorgeous crest about who you are as a fantastic person. Now that you are back, you have a skills and abilities list. You know who you are, you know what you can do. You have your outside, inside traits. You know who you are on the inside, you know who you are on the outside, and you've created a gorgeous crest to show anyone who you are. You are now going to take all of this information and all these pieces, and you're going to write us a poem about who you are. I want to know who you are as a person. So tell me in a poem, however long you want it to be. It can be multiple stanzas, one stanza, multiple lines, all kinds of lines, however you want it to be. And tell us about the wonderful, fantastic person you are. Tell us about those abilities and skills, especially those things that might make you unique or different. Tell us about your inside, outside traits. Use your crest to help you inspire yourself as you write. Just sit down and just tell us who you are. In your poem, it can rhyme. It doesn't have to rhyme. It can be however format you want it to be. But I want you to sit down for a few minutes and I want you to think who you are as a person and kind of think who you are and where you are, where your place is in this world. Because once you kind of have an idea of who you are, it's easier for you to figure out how you can help the greater world around you and what your skills and your abilities are, because then you can then use those to help the world and help your community and help those other people around you, because you know what you're good and you're not good at. You might need someone to help you in another section, so maybe you're not the best at being organized, which I'm not, and I need someone to help me be organized, but I'm really good at listening. So maybe we can go back and forth and we can help each other that way. So take some time, pause the video, write your poem, tell us who you are and where you want to be in this world and how you want to help and fix some things that might need to help in this world. All right, we have skills and abilities, we have inside outside traits, we have gorgeous crest, and we have poems. So what we want you to do now is, as always, is to share all of that with us. You can share the poem with us, you can share the crest with us, whatever elements of this activity you want to share, feel free. So what you're going to do is you're going to go on flipgrid.com. You're going to use the code writing poems, and you're going to go to the Who I Am topic to submit your work. Again, if you're having trouble with Flipgrid, we have a video on our website that'll take you all step-by-step how to submit on Flipgrid. If you don't have an email, make sure you send us a message or an email at info@americaexplorerscleveland.org, and we will set you up with a student ID so you can partake. Whatever, if you submit a poem, and if you submit a poem and a crest, you can get 2 points. So you could do 2 points, 1 point, however many things you want to submit through this, because you got a chance for 2 here. So submit, and we can't wait to see everything. We hope you guys have a great week, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.